right, everyone, welcome to today's episode. We're down here in the canyon, pretty deep down, a few miles in from the car, and we're fishing the chubby today. It's salmon fly season, it's chubby season, and they're all over the place. Here's a little golden stone right here. We'll see if you guys can see if I can show you this guy. Little golden stone. Uh, these guys are all over. There's a lot of salmon flies too. Let me see if I can grab one of those guys. Ah, that one fell. Find you another one. There's another big guy right here. So here's those salmon flies. And so what I wanted to do here was discuss how I'm fishing these things on the bobber. The salmon flies are out. There's about 12 of them on this bush. There's a bunch more goldens. You know, that's about the average size of one, about a 2-incher. There's some that are bigger. What I wanted to talk about in a little bit more depth is how I'm fishing this thing on a bobber. And so you can see this nice shaded, I'm standing behind a shaded tree, but you can see that nice tree right there where the flow goes into it. There's a couple nice boulders sticking up back there, and it really drops off underneath that thing. Usually the water's about a foot or maybe 15 inches higher. You can see some of the water lines on these rocks here. And so under that tree back there, it's normally a little higher. But I just want to demonstrate today how I do this, and then I think you'll see how effective it is just by me demonstrating it. I don't think I can work the magic like I normally do sometimes with the drop shot or the Euro nymph rig where I catch a fish right while I'm talking to you guys in the 7-minute video, but I'll see what I can do. The bugs are really starting to fly here. The birds are out eating them. When you float down the middle of the river, you see bugs on the middle of the river. So they're pretty active today. They can be more active. But here's that chubby that I'm using. And so if you guys are really interested in doing something like this with a spin pole, let me go over what I've got. I have a dedicated reel for this, just an anything reel. I put about 20 or 30 pound braid on that, and I fill it up as much as I can. This one's a little low. I've gotten some tangles over the years, but you're not going to really use this reel a lot just for this technique. So you just get a, $40 reel, $50 reel, something you like. Get some of that braid on there, spool it up, and then the key is in how you use it. So let's talk about rigging it up first. So when you rig this thing up, I'm using a tippet ring. Not sure you guys can see that there, but there is a small metal ring on there. There you go. There's a small metal ring on there that's a 3mm ring that I am tying this thicker braid to. This thicker braid goes to it, and then this side of it is that 8-pound fly fishing tippet material, just a monofilament that floats, not a fluorocarbon. So that tippet ring is essential because it allows me to tie that thick braid to that thin material real easily when I'm out here in the field. If I snap something, it's going to be that mono tippet, and I'm going to just tie it on again. I don't lose my bobber, and so my bobber sits above that, right? So you thread your bobber with the braid 3 times through this bobber. Okay, I do about 3 times through. And then I have a little peg here that I make out of a shish kebab skewer I get from the store. I carve it down with my Leatherman, pop it in there, fits in. You can see it down in there in the body. It fits in about a 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit less than that. And it holds all that tight. And then so after that, there's about a 3-inch tag of it that I leave hanging out, 4-inch tag down to that tippet ring I showed you. Right there, it's a 3mm tippet ring. You can pick these up at your fly shop. And then I go 8-pound Rio PowerFlex Mono down to my custom chubby that looks like one of these bigger golden stones. Let me see if I can find one of those for you real quick right here. Thought I saw a couple over here. Where did you go, guys? Anyway, there's a couple salmon flies there, but this is the classic chubby. I just tie it a little lighter color, and I tie it with some yellow flash, and I put some yellow marker underneath mine. Just give it that golden color, right? So then the trick is, what I did, and I've showed you guys this before, is I'm putting the floating just on the wing of this fly. But more importantly, before I left today in my backyard, I put floating on the first 30, 40 feet of this braid. And I have a tech tip that I'll link in, show you the thumbnail on that, on how I do that. But basically you're letting the drag out, pull it out, hook your fly on a tree, boom, braid gets the braid gets the floating, and the mono gets the sink. And the sink is important. So on the mono above the fly, you put the sink. And the sink, especially on days like today, drops that down into the surface film and takes the glare and the shadow, all that off your leader, and cuts down on the spook factor, right? I mean, it's midday. You can see that salmon fly right there taking off. The bugs are flying. You know there's a trout hanging under that tree somehow. It's just a matter of not spooking it and getting it to come up and hit your fly. So floating on the wing, let the foam do its work with this fly, sink it on the mono leader, and floating on the braid. The braid then becomes like a fly line, and you can kind of flip that up and let it mend around, because we're going to be fishing downstream. And so the technique's going to be to get it out, swing it in, and then feed it down under that tree, okay? And then when you get a strike, you don't want to pull way up like this. You want to sweep out to the river and suck up that line and strike out. As that fish goes down, you pull the opposite way, corner of the mouth type of thing. So I'm going to demonstrate that. You guys want flies that I use? I have 3 different flies that I use for this technique. One I just showed you. The other is the Clark Stone. That is a lighter deer hair dry fly, classic golden stone pattern. I have it tied here in yellow. Let me adjust that. But tied here with a little yellow underwing. This is tied with some black-tailed deer I shot with my bow. And then when the big bugs are flying and you're feeling confident, I made my black chubby this year into something a little bit different. I got the guard hairs off the black-tailed deer bucktail that I shot my muzzleloader last season, and I used it in this right here. And so this guy's a little bigger. I really like the golden, and so I've created a 3-pack that you can pick up on at my online store, fishfinderjigs.com, of these 3 flies that I use. And if you want to get the kit with a bobber, a tippet ring, and a peg, I have that too. I've run around to all the stores, collected all those items, put them together in a small kit with these 3 flies and those accessories that get you fishing just like I have told you about. You've got to just get the reel and the line and the rod. The rod that I use for this is a little different. This is a medium fast. So it's a fast action rod, but it's a medium power because I got this bobber on there, you know, and I'm letting it go way downstream. And then sometimes the cool thing with this bobber is if you want to huck it out in the middle of the river and have some fun just because you're wanting to do something different, you can put a little water in it, and that adds up a little weight. So it's nice to have a nice medium power fast action rod to really toss this thing around. But we've talked enough. Got the GoPro on. I'm going to go down there and just demonstrate how this technique works and show you guys. If the magic happens, awesome. Thanks for watching. But you can expect me to do this to every tree that I can pull into with my little boat and quietly get out and drift this thing down. This is how I fish. And when I see there's big fat seams, when I see there's big fat seams with boulders close to the bank or out in the middle, I try to work those too. But this is how I do it. And there's that sexy fly right there. And let me tell you, they like that thing. They do, they do. So let me put my shades back on. Let's get down here. And there's that tree right there. The camera makes it look a little further away than it is. I could fish it from here if I wanted to, but I'm just going to move out here a little bit and do it. It's just a simple little flick it out there. You want to get this set up, right? So you get one shot to go down the prime lane because you're going to be reeling it back. The little guy hit it right there. The little guys are on it. The little smolts are out. Okay, so we got a little hit on it. Let's get it back down there so we get a nice big float under that tree. Let's get it a little closer. Okay, so don't worry about that orange bobber. I have that orange bobber on there so you guys can see it. I've caught a lot of fish with it on that orange bobber. Okay, so there we are right at the front of the tree. We'll just kind of let it dance right in there for a little bit. That big gray wing makes it look like one just fluttering back to the shore, right? And so if you want, before you start, you can find some salmon flies and toss them in and let them go under that tree. And so I just work it back up slowly like this. I want to go out around that point. We're going to do a nice little swing in there in front of that point. Point being the point of the tree. So just get it out there. Kind of toe the bobber back in line so the fly is going down first. Work it in there. Hold your reel. Hold your line coming off your reel. Now we're just going to sit it right in front of that and swing it in there. Across that current. If there's one in there, I've hooked him in this tree before. Once I have to reel it back, we're going to spook him. Going way, way under that tree right now. No, we'll pull it back. Okay. Didn't find that guy. We'll go wade out of the downstream point. It's pretty shallow under that tree right now, but still there should be one in there. That was a good drift. All right, so that was a little tangled. Sometimes it gets tangled on this peg. You just got to hook it up like that. So you're not whipping the fly around like a fly rod, drying it out, right? It's mostly foam and rubber. It's real easy to dry out. I'll just squeeze it out of my hand. Give it one of those. Make sure that wing's nice and fluffy. So that thing looks like a fluttering stonefly. Now we're going to go out on the edge of that tree in that deeper water. The front all the way down to the back. So throw a little further out. Pull it in here. Now I'm managing the line with my hand. Trying to manage that slack. Right over a nice big boulder right there. Oh, that looks so good. Now my kits, remember my kits, they have both a clear, they have either a clear or a orange bobber like this. You can choose. If you think you want the clear, I got those. If you think you want a nice orange one so you can see it, I got those. But that's basically the technique right there. You know, this is a 2 to 4 cast spot. You know, you can't keep ripping them through there. If you want to put it out in the middle of the river and get a little further out there, no doubt you can fish it like that out in the middle of the river. And so this opens up so much water for you if you're a fly fisherman and have never fished with a spin pole before. This works and opens up so much water. I take this to Montana and I catch a lot of fish that people just can't get to, even with the boats. Here it's pretty incredible. Some days it's on fire, other days it's pretty good. But some days it's just completely on fire because the bugs are so very active. But you can see how that works. The fly, the floating on the line, braided line makes it very much like a fly line that's easy to mend. And that's how I hunt down big fish on the spin pole with giant dry flies. So I think we're going to end it right there, folks. We got a nice lesson in today on the spin pole with the dry fly. Keep in mind, if you want to be fishing that on the clear bobber, I have those too. I like to use the orange one so you guys can see it on the show. That works just fine. Go back in my roll of channels and you can see the big rainbow I got a video on with that orange bobber. Works really well. Great day on the river today. Caught some nice fish on the fish finder jig. I'll put that footage in. Did some more drop shotting. I think I caught my PB whitefish for the year on the drop shot. I'll have to see that one I caught last video on the Euro rig. If that one's bigger, I'll put the pictures up and see if I can tell. Caught a nice one on the drop shot. So I've been doing pretty well on all the techniques this week. Today I've caught one on fish finder jig, real nice fatty. Then I caught a bull trout actually. I'll put that footage in. Bull trout are a little bit rare here below the dam. So fish finder jig's been producing pretty well. I've caught 2 or 3 fish on it. And then the drop shot, nice big whitey, big PB whitey, or at least second on the list whitey. So that was pretty good. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget about fishfinderjigs.com. A lot of cool stuff over there for you. I'm going to be fishing the next 4 miles of this river under trees like that all afternoon. If there's any action out there, you'll be the first to see, unless I run out of GoPro battery. See you out there. Have fun.